Hi, today's fun fact has to do with the body. I was in a discussion and they were talking about, is the body perfect, you know? And, well, I mean, if you look at the structure, the bone structure, like for instance the legs, our legs are built in such a way that it doesn't even really require a nervous system to do most of our walking. Like you can actually build a robot that will, as long as you mimic a lot of the muscles and the way the muscles and the bones work together, you can have a robot that's built without any nervous system at all, that when you push it, it will walk just like a human form as long as you follow the structure of the human, you know, as long as you follow the basic anatomy. And this works for all animals. Most animals are built in such a way that they do have a underlying mechanism that doesn't require a nervous system. Now when humans run, this requires a different gait, so you'd have to build the robots differently, a running robot and a walking robot. Or if you had it selected, you know, hooked up to a nervous system, the nervous system could fix the gait. And the same with, if you look at our arms apparently are like really good for throwing. If you look at like the apes and stuff, they have really long arms, and the really long arms is really good for throwing like far distances, but it's not good for accuracy. Matter of fact, because the longer your arms, the smaller time that you have to let go, because one of the most important parts of being an accurate thrower is to be really good at knowing when to let go. So if you have shorter arms, that period to let go is bigger. So the smaller your arms, the bigger period of letting, the bigger the area of time that you can let go and still be somewhat accurate. So, you know, arms seem to be very good at throwing. Maybe not hard, like if you play lacrosse or something, you know, you have a longer stick, it takes a little bit more practice, a little more skill to get that window because it's a narrow window. But of course, if you look at the spinal cord in and of itself is horrible. It's an awful design. It can lead to nerve pinching, it doesn't necessarily grow straight, all kinds of trouble with the nervous system, I mean our spinal cord. But then there was this guy, and he was talking about, wait a minute, what about why do men have nipples? Like, let's get back to intelligent design. Why do men have nipples? And this just kind of freaked me out. I was like, men having nipples is somehow a proof of God? Because that, I mean, like I have a proof that, you know, maybe bananas or honey kind of, I don't know, but nipples, a male nipple was his proof of God, because why else would men have nipples? And the reason why men have nipples actually has a lot to do with really two kind of good bar stories. Bar story number one is a story about parrotfish. Apparently parrotfish live in a female-dominated hierarchy, where the alpha female in this hierarchy actually leads these other parrotfish around, and she's the one that decides what male is allowed to follow these fish around, and there's only one male that's allowed to follow them. So they go around, and the alpha female decides which male is allowed to follow them in their little group. And if that male dies, the alpha female of the group becomes male and then impregnates all of the lesser parrotfish in the hierarchy. Now, the same kind of goes with hyenas. Hyenas, the female has a penis. And not only does she have a penis, it's a larger penis than the male. And not only does she use it to go to the bathroom with, but she uses it if the male hyenas get out of line, the alpha female hyena will jam that thing up his butt to keep the male hyena in line. Which is more, this thing is like a Swiss Army knife. Not only does she go to the bathroom with it, she uses it to keep the other men in line. When she gives birth through the pee hole. Now this going back to us, going back to humans, humans actually don't really get our gender assigned until really late. So actually later in the womb. So within the womb, you really don't, it's not really clear if you're going to be male. Everyone starts off female. Even if you have an XY chromosome, you don't start off being male until we're very late in the process. Now, that's usually the average, but in some cases, there are cases, especially like in the southern a coastal island off of Spain. There's an example where in this particular area, this is not the exception, but pretty much the general rule on a lot of cases, where the child does not become male until like 12 years old. So that means that this child has an XY chromosome, is going through life thinking it's a female, and then all of a sudden, when it turns 12, its testes drop, and it all of a sudden realizes, oh, I'm a male. So the reason why men have nipples is because we're pretty much kind of female until very late in life. So, that's been just a real quick fun fact about the human body. Thank you.